I've recently purchased the cheapest Honda Prelude on the entire internet.
And today, I want to get one step closer in turning this rust bucket from the 90s
into a Honda worth thousands.
This is a 5th gen Honda Prelude, and it is probably one of the most overlooked Japanese sports cars from the 90s. So when I saw the price tag of around $900, I couldn't resist picking it up. I first cleaned out the interior as best as I could while making some shocking discoveries. I fixed a very leaky power steering line, replaced the front brakes, and took it out for a spin, hoping it would pass the vital main inspection which is required to get it road legal, but boy was I wrong. Well, as you might have already guessed, it didn't pass inspection, specifically the emissions test, so let's try and figure out what's the problem here.
So I don't know if the O2 sensor is actually the reason for the Honda not passing the emissions test, because as I said already, my mechanic told me that it could be a variety of issues, such as a vacuum leak somewhere on the engine. It could be that there's an exhaust leak. It could be that the O2 sensor is faulty. So the first thing I'm gonna do is change out the O2 sensor for a new one. Thankfully, these are super cheap. So we're gonna do that right now. Let's go. Okay, our new O2 sensor is in right there. I connected it up there, routed all of the wiring so it doesn't get tangled up anywhere or it's just not hanging down anywhere where it shouldn't hang down. So I guess only one thing left to do. Fire it up, see if this thing even still runs, and then check if, well, it will pass the emissions test. It runs, which is a good sign, but we'll only know if that actually did the trick once we actually do the emissions test, which we're gonna do now. Let's go.
To 6 weeks later.
It is now genuinely about a month later from where we left off previously. So let me fill you in on what happened in this month. First and foremost, you can see this sticker right here. That means we actually passed main inspection finally with the Honda Prelude. And that means that I can now legally move this car on the road, which is a big plus. And speaking of driving this car legally on the streets, I actually took it on a road trip literally 2 days ago all the way to Italy. And I gotta say, I could not be any happier with this car. Obviously it has its flaws, it still looks like an absolute piece of crap, but we're here to fix that today. Now, from a technical standpoint, during this 1 month, I've also let my mechanic change out the timing belt on the engine because this was actually overdue already. So thank you so much. And if you're watching this, shout out to you and thank you for working much faster than I will ever be able to, because he literally pulled this off in like 1 day or something. So thank you very much. But actually, let me show you what I just found. You didn't connect the ground. I want my money back. Of course, just kidding. Let's take care of the visuals of the Prelude. Let's go.
The most obvious flaws we need to fix today are the front fenders, as one of them is dented beyond repair and the other one is, well, just too rusty for me to want to repair it, honestly. On the Prelude, it is definitely a little annoying to change out the front fenders, as I had to remove not only the side skirts to gain access to all the bolts, but also the front bumper and a few headlight bolts. But at last, both fenders are off, so let's throw them onto the junk pile. Luckily, underneath the fenders there was no rust at all, which was definitely relieving to see. Now let's put on the new, or well, in this case, second-hand pair of fenders. They are not the nicest ones out there, but since the Honda is getting a full paint job and wrap anyways, I mostly focused on buying a pair without any dents or rust.
And just like that, we're one step closer to a Prelude that's in a good condition. Well, not now though.
Until we're at that point, we still got a lot of work ahead of us. Because even though the Lude looks relatively clean again, there is still the rust. A lot of rust. The rear fenders are bubbling up from underneath the paint, both left and right side, and honestly the driver's side door doesn't look much better either, so let's take care of that.
Okay guys, have a thorough look at this mess. This is all body filler that I've ground down with the angle grinder. Now the thing is, I was expecting to run into at least some body filler, but I really didn't expect this entire quarter to basically consist of only body filler, which makes my life currently much harder than I expected it to become. Because as you can tell, the rust treatment that they have done before was probably not the greatest, and it started bubbling up from underneath the body filler, leading to this entire quarter just getting soggy and peeling off. So in this case, I will need to grind down this entire quarter to bare metal, treat the metal to make sure that the rust will never come back,
and then remodel everything from scratch like I did on my E36 to make it look perfect. To gain better access and to make some room around the rear quarter, I am now removing the rear bumper to be able to grind everything down properly, apply rust converter, reinforce everything again, and fill it up with the filler. And if this sounds a little janky to you, then that will be because, well, it is. Doing rust repair with Bondo is often considered unprofessional and sloppy, and I agree the best and honestly easier thing to do here would be to cut out the entire rear quarter and weld in a new piece. But don't be fooled, as the Bondo method can be a very valid and reliable method of treating rust if you do it properly. That means grinding down every last piece of rust, applying multiple coats of rust converter, reinforcing the rear quarters, and sealing everything up airtight. With all of the rust treated, I can now move on to reinforcing the rear fenders by cutting this mesh down to size and putting it in to regain the quarter's original shape. I'm then using a tiny bit of flexible Bondo as a base coat to secure it in place. And while I'm working away in the rear, my dad is taking care of the correct bumper in front.
And just like that, we're all done sanding down the Prelude. Filled up all of these cracks with body fillers, sanded it down, and now this is a very nice and smooth surface ready to paint. But well, in the back, not so much. I still got a lot of sanding to do, but everything's filled up with body filler. There's no rust coming back. Well, at least I hope so, but I've put a lot of work into this, and well, I think you can see by just how dirty my clothes are. This was a very long day. Actually, a couple of very long days. Also, why is there body filler on my wheel? Anyways, I'm super happy how everything turned out, and now this car is completely ready for paint. So make sure to let me know your guess in the comments below which color you think I'm going for with the Prelude.